Florida Congressman and U.S. Army vet Brian Mast. Congressman, thank you for joining us. You served and sacrificed for our country. Is there a point where Russia really does trigger a more robust engagement from the United States?
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, as long as they continue to see the United States of America being negligent, not controlling the things that we control 100%, actually the more likely we are to encounter a NATO conflict, a pushing of those borders, because Russia will continue to see what they can get away with, right? If there's still reliance on their fossil fuels, if there's not a buildup along the NATO borders, if we're continuing to cancel our previously scheduled nuclear tests and other activities that we were doing with the Polish military, or you name it, if we continue to back away and show that weakness, I think it makes us more likely to get engaged with in conflict with Putin, because he will continue to push the envelope.
You know, Congressman, we heard about the missile that came within 10 miles of hitting Poland, but then we see images of maternity wards and children's hospitals being bombed. And look, I didn't serve, you did, so that's why I want to ask you. I mean, it is hard to watch those images and not want to do something more. I mean, is it really as simple as whether the missile lands on this side of the Polish boundary line or that side of the Polish boundary line?
I don't think it can be. I don't think that's who we are as a nation, that we say, well, we could see 10,000 or far more Ukrainians indiscriminately killed and we won't do a thing. But if the hair on the head of one NATO member gets touched, we're all in, all NATO members. That's not who we are, and that's not good for the security of the globe. We need to go out there and say, these are the borders, these are the parameters, these are the, not look at this the way that Biden, they called it a gaffe in the beginning when they said Biden was looking at this in terms of whether it was a major or a minor incursion. I think what we really know is they were planning, trying to predict that this would be a minor incursion and they could brush it off without having to do anything. No, we need to control the things that we can control and be strong in the face of all of this. None of it is acceptable. None of it is proportional. None of it is rational. And if we try to rationalize any of it, then Putin has already succeeded.
All right, Congressman, one thing lots of our viewers have heard about is this proposed transfer of jets from Poland to Ukraine. It was nixed. Do we know why it was nixed? Did the U.S. not want to be the conduit for these fighter planes? Do we know what happened?
The answer is simple. It was nixed out of fear of escalation. That's the most straightforward answer for why you can say that transfer of jets isn't taking place. And let's make a comparison. Not should we care, do we go and jump on the ladder of escalation, of military escalation or conventional warfare escalation, to say, well, if Russia sells jets to Iran, then we are going to be in a war with Iran? No, that's not the ladder of escalation that takes place. Russia can be in a pact with anybody that they want. We can be in a pact with anybody that we want. If we want to sell jets to the Ukraine, then we should sell jets to the Ukraine. And if they're going to use them to shoot down Russian anything or hit their assets on the ground, then that's what they use them for. But we should not be intimidated by Russia in doing that.
You know, Congressman, again, you served, I did not. But if I'm looking at a ladder of escalation and I see a children's hospital being bombed, and I see a maternity ward being bombed, and I see a journalist being killed, and I see civilians who are trying to escape the country being killed, I'm pretty high up my escalation ladder. So it's probably good that I'm not making these decisions, and good that people like you are. Thank you for your service to our country, Congressman, in every way that it manifests itself.
Thank you, Trey. Good to see you.
Take care. You too.